happening? Welcome to another episode of the Nick and Alex Baseball Show, the place where we will gladly wear a rainbow badge. I'm Nick Pollack. Joining me is the ravishing Alex Fast.
Ravishing. I was thinking about this beforehand. It looks so ugly. Like, this kind of this Amish beard I have going on. You're not really able to take care of yourself once you have a child. But I appreciate the sentiment. I am very excited to be here talking baseball with you, just sipping some brews, and talking some ball.
Yeah, totally. Got my PL7 mug right here for that. Just so we're clear, I was supposed to get my hair cut, didn't do it. It's going out like a chia pet. And I don't know. I
was informed by Twitter. I was informed by the Nick Pollack's hair Twitter account that it was formed today.
That's a real thing. That's a real Twitter account.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, that's where we have reached life. No, we have a wonderful show today. We have some really fun stuff we want to talk about. And I do want to note before we get going, this is the very last time, if you're listening to this podcast on the Pitcherless Fantasy Baseball feed, well, it's the last time you're going to have it there. You can only listen to us on the main Nick and Alex Baseball Show podcast feed from the next episode moving forward. So make sure you go and rate it. Make sure you go and leave a review. We have a review this week, Fast. You want to read it? You want to read
I do. It's a very kind review. It's 5 stars from F. Osman. It says, great show. I like it. I love it. We need some more of it. I believe that's Garth Brooks, right? Is that Garth Brooks?
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds good. I believe it would be Garth Brooks. And of course, we have our PL Plus giveaway as I think Fast is frozen here. Look at this. I mean, I was saying that he's ravishing. But I mean, now we can actually see he's ravishing. Oh, you're back, buddy. Hi.
I'm back. Look, I'm back. I apologize. I was so busy Googling if that was Garth Brooks. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. It was Tim McGraw, and my internet punished me.
Yeah,
my internet punished me.
Can't look up Tim McGraw today. But all right, we also, because it's a live show, what we do is we give away PL Plus every time. So Eric Mura, of course, our wonderful producer, is back this week. We're so happy he's here. And he's going to put up this lovely graphic. And you guys chat right now on Twitch. We do this every week. Twitch.tv/pitcherless. You should be there 10 p.m. Eastern time every single Tuesday. Twitch chat. Remember this. At the end of the show, I'm going to ask and not give it away this time. Who is this pitcher with a 1.59 ERA, 6-0 record, 51 innings, 0.88 whip, 25% K rate, 8.7% walk rate, 93 mile per hour fastball? And you're listening right now. Are you going to be able to beat Fast? Are you going to be the only I don't know. Yes. But all right, let's get that out of here. Let's get that out and bring in something a little bit better than that graphic. We have a guest today, don't we, Fast?
We do. We have a guest that it's always very exciting to me when we can get fellow Hebrews to talk about baseball in any sort of way, shape, or form. And listen, Nick, you and I, we're not good people. No, what I mean by that is we say we follow baseball, but we don't. We're liars, we're fibs, we're cheats. We follow Major League Baseball. Now, what the guys at Cespedes Family Barbecue do, the real baseball fans, they follow capital B baseball. They'll go to a baseball game wherever. They'll go to Korea. They'll go to Japan. They'll go to Taiwan. They'll go to college stuff. They'll do all of it.
Yes.
Those guys are the real heroes. The College World Series is about to kick off on June 16th. And who better to talk to us about the College Baseball World Series experience than one half of the fantastic Cespedes Family Barbecue, Jordan Shusterman. Jordan, come on down.
What's up, y'all? How we doing?
What's up, man?
I get an exclamation point and everything. Oh, man.
You got a great hat there. How do you feel about that call that happened?
Wait,
did you feel that's right?
Dude, well, are you talking about the UMD game? This is, by the way, I'm going to give you guys a 0% chance of knowing what hat this is. But, that's fine. If anyone
That's so upset. I just skipped like 5 things.
I know. Like, listen, it's like Nick's like, Alex, make an outline. Let's talk about what the show is. And then what does he do? He just blows right over it. But please, I don't know what that hat is. What is it?
This is the University of Mary Hardin Baylor, a Division III football powerhouse, but now soon to be baseball powerhouse. Shouts out head coach Mike Stosky, who sent me a bunch of gear. But I was at the University of Maryland UConn regional game last night, and man, no fun. No
Wait,
fun.
You were there?
I was there. I was IRL. I was in person, live on the scene, as I live in Washington D.C., and so I was there in College Park with good friend Connor Newcomb. I don't know if you've had Connor Newcomb on the show.
Yes.
But Connor's great, obviously. Connor's a Terps alum. And I was sitting originally in the bleachers in the outfield, and then I moved behind home to sit with Connor about 5 minutes before that play happened. And yeah, it was just bad vibes all around. Now that said, love the Terps, amazing season, historic season, super fun watching them all year long. That said, they did walk 4 in a row and then a hit by pitch and then a grand slam in the first inning. So, maybe don't do that. And then we don't have a situation where we're worried about calls like that in the 8th.
So I'm with you. I am a Maryland, not alum, but I am born and raised in Maryland. So root for all things.
Really?
Root for all things Maryland. I sadly also have that stupid obsession with our awful flag. I wanna take a step back first, though. Nick did this great thing where he skips to chapter 3, even though chapter 1, 2 are fantastic.
Look, man, I hosted the Barbacast with Jake Bintz. Anything's possible.
Okay, so you and I are simpatico in this.
I'm ready. I'm ready for anything.
I'm happy to be Jake. Jake's the best. Yeah.
All right, you're Jake. I'm Jordan. I'll take that all day. No, I'm kidding. I love both of you equally. We walk us through where Maryland was in the process, because I think a lot of people who might not be familiar with the College World Series are like, wait, so they were in the thing, but they didn't make the super regional, and that's this. So can you walk us through what Maryland lost, what was at stake, and then what the overall kind of structure of the College Baseball World Series is?
Sure. So just like March Madness, it's 64 teams in Division I. But unlike, there is a bracket that is set up where certain regionals are paired with each other for the second round. But the regional format is a double elimination 4-team tournament hosted by 16 regionals across the country. And Maryland, for the first time ever, got to host a regional this past weekend in College Park. So 4 teams, in each regional, and you basically have to win at least 3 games, if not 4, if you lose your first one, which is really not a total great representation of actual what baseball is during the season when you play 3-game series on the weekends. But it is what it is. And so they lost in the final game of the regional to UConn. And so UConn moved on and will be playing Stanford in the Super Regional. So the Super Regional is best of 3 series coming up this weekend. 8 of those Super Regionals coming up this weekend. UConn going out to play Stanford. And then there's a bunch of other obviously great matchups starting this weekend on Friday. And then the winner of those 8 Super Regionals will be going to Omaha. So that's how the College World Series gets decided.
And who are the teams that are just lighting it up that we have to watch for?
Yeah, so we just wrote a little bit about this and did a video about it, but Tennessee's been number 1 in the country basically since probably the second or third week of the season. They did go to Omaha last year, but this is a program that has sort of come out of nowhere relatively. I mean, sure, there's some history there. Of course, they had Todd Helton, many years ago, and they've had some big players, but in general, in the SEC, this has not been one of the perennial powerhouses, but they got this coach, Tony Vitello, in there a few years ago, and he's really built this program up. And yeah, Tennessee's been unbelievable. I mean, I'll just keep it simple. They led the country in home runs and an ERA. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do. Good recipe, right? So they were challenged a little bit in the regional. They were obviously hosting, and they're going to be welcoming in Notre Dame for the Super Regionals, but they are one of the most dominant teams we've seen in a long time. That said, fun fact, no number 1 overall seed has won it all since 1999, the University of Miami. So history is very much against them, even though they do appear like by far the best team. So now that said, if they lose this weekend, I mean, Notre Dame's great. If they lose before Omaha, it would be pretty stunning. It'll be a little bit different once they get there. But yeah, Tennessee is 100% the team to watch.
It's almost like baseball. You need more than, these small series to actually determine who's the best one, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna mix cultural references real quick. How many of these college baseball players do you think are finding out who the singer Kate Bush is for the first time by watching Stranger Things this week. You know how like Running Up That Hill is like back in the charts? Do you think they're all like, oh my God, Kate Bush, dude?
Well, hold on. Spoilers, my friend, because I have not. What season of Stranger Things are we on at this point? 3, 4?
4, and there's no spoiler. I haven't watched it either, to be fully honest. But there apparently like there's a big thing with Kate Bush, and her song is trending, and I'm like, how? All of America's like, who's Kate Bush? And I'm like, that's a Nick thing to say.
Well,
wait, that isn't like Machine Head Bush or whatever, isn't that?
How do we mute him? How do we like mute Nick? How do we like get him off?
I can't speak to. I really have not. I do like Stranger Things. I watch but I cannot speak to anything that you're referring to right now. So.
Okay,
I'm sure whatever your reference and joke is a great joke.
The joke is that they're all very, very true. I mean, the thing is, like, they're all like born in 2000 or later. Yes. Is what Fast is trying to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absurdly startling.
Later,
they're all like, 2000. You know what the best movie in the world is? Inception.
Yeah, no, these kids are born in like 2004. I mean, this is like,
oh my God.
Again,
oh my God.
That's crazy. All right, getting back on topic. Who are, first of all, just off the cuff, it sounds like the atmosphere is pretty crazy because it sounds like this 3-game series, just like, you know, you can't really make any mistakes. It sounds like it's just, you know, wasn't there a game a little while ago where some team was down like 26-1? Was it Oklahoma, Texas, and the other team came back?
Yeah, we had Oklahoma State had a dramatic weekend to say the least. They were down 12-0 facing elimination and won 26-15.
Oh my God.
Which is totally normal stuff. But that was also why when Maryland went down 7-1, I was like, oh, we're chilling. Like, this is just normal stuff. Yeah. There's been, I know this is another thing you guys can just, you know, even if you haven't been following college baseball, obviously a lot of discussion about the ball being dead in Major League Baseball. Very much the opposite situation in college baseball. The ball is flying to a somewhat laughable borderline like MLB 2019 levels, but with metal bats and smaller stadiums. So you can imagine what that means, and way worse pitching. So you can imagine the combination that results in. And so it's been very entertaining, but also a kind of chaotic in a way that's like almost bordering on just like, this is stupid. But you know, I'm not complaining, but to your point, like, yeah, the atmospheres this weekend, especially at some of the places that are hosting for the first time ever, or for the first time in a long time. Virginia Tech in a super regional for the first time. Southern Miss is hosting Ole Miss, which will be super fun. Obviously, they love their college baseball down in Mississippi. So a lot of great matchups. And again, it's all over ESPN all weekend, and we can't recommend it enough.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, we don't want to take more of your time. We really appreciate you coming on here. Last thing, obviously, like, who are the guys we have to see? You know, who the stud pitcher, the stud hitter, who are they?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, if you're an MLB fan and you're tuning in, and it's easy to think, oh, who's a draft guy, right? I'm trying to think of the top teams that are still in. Obviously, Tennessee has a good number of them on offense for sure. Jordan Beck, Drew Gilbert, both of those guys in the outfield could be first-round picks. Stanford, Brock Jones in the outfield. He's a guy that could be a first-round pick. Really slow start to the year, but he's been really, really good late. I mean, one guy who I've super loved watching is actually a true freshman named Vance Honeycutt. You're not going to forget that name.
Yes.
He's at University of North Carolina, so he's not a draft eligible guy this year or even next year, but he's come on in a huge way. So there's all kinds of guys. I mean, especially on the offensive side, there's just some really, really talented hitters. And I would say the other really fun thing, but also kind of goofy thing about college baseball now is you have a lot of old players. So obviously everyone got the extra year because of COVID. When you add that with the loosened transfer rules and all kinds of red shirts, there's just a lot of like 23-year-old people playing college baseball, if not even older. And that is very entertaining because they're like
massive
to fully grown adults. But when you see freshmen having to come in and face like 24-year-olds, it's like, is this college sports? Like, it's kind of goofy in that sense. And definitely, I think, gives the offense a bit of an edge. So that creates a very, very strange, but like kind of fun dynamic because some teams are just really, really old. Some of the teams that have gotten there just brought everyone back, and it's just like all seniors and fifth year and sixth year guys. And it's it really creates an interesting thing, because of course you have the really famous freshmen who are going to be top draft picks, and then you just have like old college baseball players that have played 200 college baseball games and they just know what the hell they're doing. So it is a good time to tune in.
That's amazing.
Well, there's certainly a lot of, not just MLB, there's certainly a lot of great baseball to watch this weekend. College World Series, the Women's College World Series is also happening this weekend, which you 100% check out. I know Kevin Brown, the great Orioles broadcaster, is calling a lot of those games, so you should be checking that out because he crushes that. He's a great broadcaster.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we cover that quickly. Because
please.
Championship Series starting tomorrow. That's a best of 3 between Oklahoma and Texas. A great contrast, obviously, two name brand schools, but Texas in the Championship Series for the first time. Oklahoma looking to defend their crown. Oklahoma last year seemed like the best team I'd ever seen, and then this year they're even better. And so that's kind of horrifying and really cool. Josh Sonalo has 120 career home runs.
Oh my God, what?
and she's in her 5th season, but she, that's a record that we might not ever see.
Who cares? That's insane.
Yeah,
but sorry, go ahead.
No, if you have any questions about, because like Oklahoma, again, it is, Texas is coming in, they're unseeded. It's not like it's a small school, right? But they were not having a great season. There's a great tournament early in the season down in Clearwater, Florida, where a bunch of the best teams come down and they play for 10 days. And there's just it's just like ranked matchups for 5 straight days. And it's great. And Texas went 0-5, maybe even 0-6 in that tournament. And it was okay, why should we be taking them seriously? And then, in the last couple of weeks, they've just been unbelievable. And now they're in the Championship Series. Now, do they have a chance against Oklahoma? No, they don't. But I still would recommend tuning in if they can even keep it close, because.
But wait, didn't last year Florida State pull off the upset against Oklahoma? Right? So, wasn't that a great? I remember watching that, and it was pretty bananas, that game.
So James Madison also before that beat them, which was unbelievable. And then Florida State beat them in the Championship Series, but Oklahoma ultimately won the Championship Series. But they did beat them in a game. That is true. And then UCLA beat Oklahoma yesterday in the first game of the bracket finals or whatever. So they are beatable. I mean, whatever, they're 56-3 now, 57-3. But the difference between the offense has been historic both years. But this year the pitching is even better than it was last year. And so if they're throwing either of their top 2, I just don't. I mean, again, Texas has defied the odds in a lot of ways, and they're a good team. Their head coach Mike White is from New Zealand, so I highly encourage tuning into any of his interviews, because he looks like every other softball coach, but he certainly doesn't sound like
Taika Waititi doing a softball interview. That's very good.
He is exactly. He's right. Softball's favorite Kiwi, as they say. But Texas is obviously a great story, and it is a conference rivalry. So, but honestly, just I can't recommend tuning enough, just because it's a great sport. It's fast paced. It's honestly, so much of it is everything we complain about baseball is just not in it in so many ways. And that's part of why I love it. So
that's exactly the last thing that I was going to say to you, where it's so funny because I feel like the common baseball fan is baseball's too slow and the 3 true outcomes. And it's okay, well, the KBO is incredibly fast paced. You want to watch that? No. All right. Well, College World Series is actually incredibly fast paced, and it's got players who are super energized and really get you pumped up. You want to watch that? No. Okay. What about the Women's College World Series? The exact same thing. It's there are so many great baseball outlets that you can pursue right now that have the brand of baseball that you are looking for. And if we can increase the viewership on that, I think it puts even more pressure on MLB to be oh, we do want these personalities. We do want, no commercial breaks between the top and the bottom of the first inning. There are so many small things that the sport can do that the sport is already doing. That I think we could take advantage of.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, again, softball in particular, I love college baseball, obviously, right? I can talk about it all day, and I watch it all the time, but college baseball does still have even more. It's seeping into college baseball, right? Where more 3 true outcome. That's also very true to that point. And obviously there's a lot of pitching changes and but softball is just, oh my goodness. It seems simple, but it really is just checks out in so many ways that are better than baseball. And of course there's some adjustments, but obviously when the stakes are this high too, like it's just great TV. So certainly encourage everyone tuning in. And yes, shouts out Kevin Brown, who I don't believe will be on the championship series call because they alternate those crews and they kind of have the A team do the champ series. But Kevin is fantastic. Obviously every time I see Kevin at Camden Yards this year, I'm just like talking to him about softball. So, shouts out Kevin.
Well, Jordan, can't thank you enough for being here, man. And I think everybody's lucky to have you championing the College World Series on both sides. So yeah, thanks so much for being here, man.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man. Take care. Woo! Listen,
all right.
That guy, like, he's just the best. He's just the best for all of it. He's just great.
Right? Like, we all need more Jordans in our lives. I mean, it's also you too, Fast, because, you are the Jordan here and I'm the Jake. One thing to admit here, I totally thought his hat at first was Maryland, which is why I skipped straight to it. I was just taken aback. I was like, well, I gotta say the Maryland thing. I messed up. That's on me. That is absolutely on me. Yeah, I goofed. That's all right.
It's all right. It's all good. We all goof. We all goof occasionally. We it's very funny. We went a little long on that segment, but how could we not? That was the way that we want to be.
That's what the baseball show is all about. We want to bring everything about this wonderful sport on here, and we want to keep you on your toes every week. So you don't know what's going to be.
It does perfectly transition to our next segment, which is our thing of the week, our one thing of the week. And I actually slipped. I mentioned it at the end there. We should be doing exactly what the KBO does, which is do not go to commercial break between the top and the bottom of the inning. Yeah. How quickly that speeds the game by only going to commercial break at the end of each inning, I think is just like absolutely fantastic. I don't know if I recall correctly, I don't think they do it throughout the entirety of the broadcast, but like, just skip the ads in the first. I understand that's against everything that American culture, believes in, because the highest ad revenue is probably going to be in the first inning when the most people are tuning in. But like, oh man, it just feels so good to be able to use that time to do a review of what happened in that inning or do a nice deep dive into the pitcher that you're about to see. It just speeds the game along. I love it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is going to agree with you there. Just make it a better flow and make you feel like you're actually at the game. When you're at a game, you have that change of pace. There's no ad being thrown in your face in between innings and everything. It just makes it so much better. Obviously, MLB is going to say, look, that's just so much money on the table that we're leaving. All right, find another way to do it. But it makes all the sense in the world to make that a better experience for the user at this point. My thing of the week, I just wanted to give a shout out to Jordan White. Put a lot of time into his article that just came out, WES. It's weighted effective strikes. That is an improvement on CSW. It's essentially adjusting. Not adjusting. That's actually Jesse Rosh's article over at Baseball Perspectives, which also talked about emphasizing CSW in certain counts. It does a great job with that. So definitely go check that one. Adjusted called strikes. Not all strikes are created equal. But this is essentially taking our CSW stat and saying, hey, when there's a 3-ball count, it's not nearly as important with 3-0 than it is 0-2. And 2-strike counts are a little bit more weighted. And Jordan White did a really good job with it. You can check it out on the Pitcherless site. But in short, can you guess who the leaderboard of the weighted effective strike rate is this year?
What do you want? You want number one overall?
Number one, WES. Yes.
Is it McClanahan?
It is Shane McClanahan. Come on, buddy. Fine. It's earned strike, by the way, not effective strike. It's McClanahan, Burns, and Aaron Ashby, which is why I think Jordan White ultimately did it, because it's another Aaron Ashby thing. And if you know Jordan White, it's all about Aaron Ashby. But really passes the eye test of all the names at the top of this. I think it's awesome. It makes all the sense in the world. Does it have the same simplicity of CSW? Not necessarily. It's not as quick to calculate, but it's better. It's more predictive and descriptive. So when it comes to actually analyzing these guys, we're gonna look into this a little bit more, and hopefully we can get this on our player pages in the near future. But yeah, that's the thing of the week from me.
What you want to know why I knew it was Shane McClanahan?
Why?
Because I read the article, you dingus.
Yeah, you did.
Great piece. It's a great piece. You should go check it out. It's fantastic work.
I should have worn my McClanahan fan shirt today. If you
Great
don't
shirt.
have that, you go to the merch store. Go get yourself a lovely McClanahan fan shirt. But you know what? I think it's time, Fast, to ask Eric Mura, our wonderful producer, a question.
Hello. All right, guys.
Hello.
I want initial reactions to Joe Maddon's canning.
Oh, man. Griffin?
Joe Maddon is Griffin Canning. Is that the question? Is Joe Madden Griffin Canning?
Is that right, guys? Is that true?
Yeah, I think that's it because he disappeared.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, my reaction is I understand it. My grasp of the situation is that Maddon was surprised, which I don't think is necessarily great. But look, when a team loses 12 straight, something needs to be different. And oftentimes that's firing a manager. You saw Girardi go, and the Phillies have been really good since. And maybe you don't want to catalyze the two, or you wouldn't want to or correlate the two, is what I should say. But something needed to be changed. And I mean, ultimately, we say all these things about how much the manager has influence, but they're the ones that get the blame at the end of the day. That's their job. And if you win 12, if you lose 12 straight, it's kind of the name of the game. So I mean, I was shocked to see it, but I guess when I came to really think about it some more, it's not too surprising.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked by it. Last night they got a complete game shutout thrown against them by Michael Wacha. So it's kind of funny to me that Michael
I saw
Wacha,
your tweet, Fast. I saw it.
No, but even just the fact that is that Joe Maddon's fault that Mike Trout went 0 for 27, 0 for 28? Maybe
Tommy Pham's fault. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be Tommy Pham's fault. So I don't know. It's funny. I sent out another tweet that was maybe my most controversial tweet in the history of me being on Twitter. That was if you're the Phillies, how are you on the phone with Joe Maddon? And everyone interpreted that as me being like, the Phillies should get Joe Maddon. But I didn't know how much everyone hates Joe Maddon. It was unbelievable to me. I will say I was didn't really understand the move until I saw this quote from The Athletic that Mike Petriello put out I think it's from Joe Maddon. It's definitely from this article. It says, it's been kind of difficult overall. I'm into analytics, but not to the point where everybody wants to shove it down your throat. Real baseball people have felt somewhat impacted by all of this. You're unable to just go to the ballpark and have some fun and play baseball. It's too much controlled by front offices these days. And I can understand, at its face, I can understand that quote. Maybe you could interpret that as bring more eye test to the game. That's okay. Let guys have fun and go out and just relax and not go up to home plate and think, what's my WOBA in this count? I get that. But that maybe points to an underlying element where the track record of the Angels for many years has not been good, not just offensively, but from pitchers as well, right? It's not a place that a pitcher would go and we'd be like, oh, Noah Syndergaard's going here. A lot of great analytics department. So that also speaks to me that maybe the front offices are not that interested in it. So I don't know. It kind of makes sense. I hope they can turn it around. But yeah, I guess that's my initial reaction.
Honestly, I just blame Taylor Ward for going to the IL. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is, man. He was it. I'll be waving my arms for the Angels as much as I can. So we're gonna jump to our next segment. But before we do, I do want to remind everybody, subscribe to the show, leave a rating and review if you can. Again, we're not going to be having this podcast on the Pitcherless Fantasy Baseball feed moving forward. So take a moment and go subscribe to it on Apple Podcasts, Nick and Alex Baseball Show. We cannot wait to continue doing this. Seriously, this is my most fun thing that I do now. To me personally, I enjoy this. We just sit back, enjoy some baseball, and talk about some fun things. And speaking of fun things, we've got the image of the week. Fast, you wouldn't let me look at yours. I wasn't supposed to know anything about your image. So we'll get this up. You yelled at me, Nick, don't look this up. That's what you told me.
Yeah. You were allowed to look at the image, but you were not allowed to figure out what the image is about. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So Nick, the question.
This looks like a ball player in a blue hat.
I told you not to look. The question that I have for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So this, I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
What did this player just do? Okay. What did this player, and I have 4 choices for you.
Okay. 4 choices. Sure.
Did he give up a game-tying home run?
Uh-huh.
Did he get a terrible called strike, called a ball? Okay, so a terrible missed call. Okay.
Yep.
Did he do that thing that always cracks me up where he like accidentally farts and then like a plume of smoke like comes out of his butt and it kind of lets everyone know that he farted?
Sorry, what?
Did he? You never seen that before?
What?
Wait, are you serious? You've never seen that video clip?
No.
No, I forgot who it is. That batter standing at home plate, and he's about to swing, and he does a check swing, and a plume of smoke comes out of his butt, and everyone's like, "Oh, he fully farted!" Like he just fully farted at home plate. I cannot believe you have not seen that.
I have not seen that. No.
Okay. Or did he throw a no-no?
I'm gonna say it's a terrible called strike, called the ball.
Okay. Drum roll.
That's the face I would make looking at the umpire.
Yes, exactly. And that is because you are incorrect. This man just threw a no-hitter. Okay, so this is Shoto Imanaga of the Bay Stars over in Japan. He threw, I believe, the first no-hitter in this stadium against the Nippon Ham Fighters, which is Shohei Ohtani's old team. Yeah. The only no-hitter that's ever been thrown in that stadium. Okay, he did not care. This is him. This is him surrounded by his teammates. He does not care at all. And it cracks me up. The entire video is his teammates running towards him, pointing at him, shaking him. And his face does not, it's just literally as if like there was a fly out in the first inning. It is unbelievable. And he just made history.
So it's Klubot. It's Klubot.
Yeah.
Even Klubot actually had a smile during the no-hitter. You know what? Yeah, amazing.
This video clip, if you have not seen it, it's on Reddit /r baseball. You should go check it out because it makes me laugh very hard. All right, what is yours?
So mine is, a celebration of this show. Look at this dude. This is a Kansas City Royals fan who is upper deck, and in the same at bats, caught not one, but 2 foul balls in his hat.
Unbelievable.
And I have never caught a foul ball in my life. But this guy, this is the dream. Every day you go to the park, you are thinking you are going to be this man. And the fact that he did it not once but twice is it's the American dream in a photo. Look, he's got his face, he's got his peace sign, he's got his hat, he's got the ball. This is everything that you want from being a baseball fan. So I think it's incredible.
I love the notion of that, of that being what people refer to. Like when people immigrate to this country, they're like, I want to live the American dream. I want to go to a Kansas City Royals game in the middle of the day and catch 2 foul balls in my hat so I can give them to my son.
At bat.
And the same at bat. Yeah.
I mean, the statistical improbability of fouling a ball off twice to the same place is already ridiculous. I mean, one was it bounced off of the stadium to the guy. And the next one he just caught. And it was insane. It was insane. Absolutely insane. And look at this is just pure joy. He's like, no, let's go.
It's also like the Kool-Aid man personified. Like he's literally oh yeah. Oh yeah. I really dig that. All right. I want to move on to the one of my favorite segments of the week, which is the pitch of the week. This is a pitch that might not oft be talked about, although both of our examples, especially if you listen to that other podcast, which we do, which sucks, definitely a pitch that we talk about pretty frequently, both yours and mine. But go ahead, Nick. What is your pitch of the week?
Oh, we are going to do mine. Yes. Hi, Zach Eflin's curveball, because this thing has showed up and it's amazing. It's three straight starts of this. And why is this my pitch of the week? Because it's third in the majors in hard contact allowed. I think you don't realize how good it is. We talked about it a decent amount. It's the most maddening thing. But the fact that it has a sub 8% hard contact rate on its pitch, only Jordan Hicks and Corbin Burns have pitches that are allowing less hard contact, which is absolutely insane. O-swing over 40%. He's getting tons of strikes on it, 36% CSW. And the fact that he's actually now harnessing it, hopefully crossing my fingers, I think it's the perfect time to highlight Zach Eflin's curveball.
I dig that. I really dig that. I feel like we've been talking about it for years about like, is he going to throw it more consistently? And then he had some quote in The Athletic last year about being like, oh, I kind of understand that a little, I feel more empowered to throw it. So it's been great. Very excited to see that. Mine is a little bit of a cop-out, but man, you know how excited I am about it, and that's Edward Cabrera's changeup. Now, obviously, he didn't even have the best day with it today. Today was the second start of the year for him. Going up against the Nationals, I think he only had like a 24% CSW overall, 23%. He only got 7 whiffs on 37 thrown. So 7 whiffs is nice in a vacuum, but on 37 thrown isn't really that great, especially with 2 called strikes. So not as dominant as we saw in that start against Colorado. But when I say dominant against that start against Colorado, it was truly dominant.
It really was.
The first one that pops up here, this 96-mile-an-hour changeup. I mean, there are people who are like, no, I think Baseball Savant has that wrong. Baseball Savant did not have that wrong. Nope. It was a 96-mile-an-hour changeup. What I want to hear from you, so it's a cross-seam circle changeup grip. How do you throw that 96 miles an hour? Like that, that's it. That's it. That's what it looks like.
My understanding is okay. If you're watching the video on YouTube, which you should, it's on our YouTube channel, this podcast and a live stream. You're throwing a normal 2-seam fastball, and you just have your fingers down the rails, as Lewis Thorpe said on the Talking Pitching podcast with us. I love that, down the railroad tracks. Now you essentially do that with your middle and your ring finger, and then you take your index and your thumb and you make that circle. Now, if you go deeper into your palm, you're going to slow it down. So what you can do is you can actually keep it farther out, and the less that you have it actually in your hand, you can see the gap between my fingers here. I can see there's an actual hole of light, but the farther you get into it, the slower it's going to be. So I would guess that Edward Cabrera has a large gap as he throws this one to keep the velocity alive.
Eric Zoom just gave me the vapors. That was a
well
sexy
done.
Zoom.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I'm going to see if I can send this image to Eric real quick, because I did a little sleuthing, and I forgot that I did this sleuthing. Eric, I don't know if it's way too late for you to be able to get that on the show, but here are 2 images from Getty Images that are zoom ins of that changeup grip. My files are too powerful. One of them was able to send. It doesn't seem as if it's that far back. It seems as if
there's a gap. I see it.
There's a small gap.
Yeah, there's a gap there. Oh yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's that considerable.
No. Yeah. I mean, it is in there, but you can kind of see on like the pinky on the right that there is kind of a little bit of a gap,
a little bit of space.
Yeah. I mean, if you have large hands, you got large fingers. It helps making that little thing be a little pearl in your hand.
Been playing base all my life, and I still got tiny baby hands. All right, Nick, I want to move on to our next conversation here. Now that we're done talking, what
the best? It's my favorite one. Fast. It's my favorite one. It's Wild Thoughts. Wild Thoughts is my favorite. Okay, and we're gonna have some. Wild Thoughts
I skipped it.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was playing it real cool, but you know what? You weren't, and Nick won. Alex too, probably for this podcast. I'm gonna, appropriate. Alex, what is your wild thought today? Do you have one? I mean, is there something that you just got to tell the world that we got to do?
I was so about to just crush this beer on my head. I was feeling so passionate about this. I want just 3 games a day on Monday, and I don't want any of them to overlap.
Oh, I want just a full day of baseball.
It's not even that I want a full day of baseball. I want focus. On one baseball game. Like in the KBO, they take off Mondays, which I don't really dig, because like I want to see baseball every day.
Yeah, we do.
But when there's a rain out, they have that game on Monday. One of the biggest complaints about us not being able to put superstars in the mainstream media is that it's tough to get these guys focused on, right? There's so many games happening at any given time. Even when we watch the Sunday night baseball game, the beginning hour is usually overrun by some other baseball games that are happening. I want that, but for more teams and a larger slate. Like, even if you say it, fine, start at noon, do a noon, a 3, a 6, and a 9, like opening day. And then, like, sure, there's gonna be duds. I understand that. That's just the nature of baseball. There's also dud Thursday night football games and dud Monday night football games. We get it. I want that because I want a national audience to be able to tune in and be able to take some of the pressure off of ESPN of like always having to have a competitor on there. Like there's people are like, oh, great. The Yankees again on ESPN. Well, guess which team has the most fans tune in? You know what I mean? Same thing with the Phillies, same thing with the Mets. Like if we have to do our part to be able to tune into those other teams, and I think this is a great way to do it. So do it, just do it, you dingus, just do it.
So Eric is calling this Duds on Monday, which I think is pretty funny.
Duds on Monday. Oh, all right. You know what? Relax. Last I checked, we were up 8-2 against the Cubbies. All right, go pick on someone your own size. Oreo Monday does sound kind of nice,
right? My wild thought today is I want one at bat again. I like the ideas of just like random things once. Just like you get these extra little strategies, like you're playing like Mario Strikers or something, and you get to use your special thing every so often.
Can't wait.
I like the idea of you have to. This is going to sound like absolutely terrible, but I like the idea that you have to make a batter be a switch hitter on demand once a game. So like if you use a righty and he's like the best righty, he has to be a lefty. And you don't know who you're going to choose. Once a game, you're like, all right, you know what? You got to be a lefty. And it might actually encourage hitters to actually learn how to hit lefty because they're expected to do it once. The team only gets one time an entire game to do it. So you got to switch it up once a game.
Are they required to? Do they have to use it?
No, of course not. But they have this in their back pocket. Like, when are you going to make them hit the opposite handedness? And, you know, if all of a sudden now Cedric Mullins, like, hey, there's some value in being able to go on both sides of the plate. You know, we've even pushed it away so much that like, oh, Cedric Mullins stopped doing that and it became better. Maybe other guys can do it. Ozzy Albies, right? But now there's added value to that ability where they won't be able to be taken advantage of that way. So I know you don't like it, Fast. You give me the big thumbs down. It's not as wild of my other wild thoughts, but
I hate it. It's not that I don't like it. I hate it, Nick.
That's it. That's Alex's commentary. So speaking of things that we love, let's go to baseball nostalgia for a second. Let's think about old-timey stuff. And I have a question for you. What is the most ridiculous baseball stat you remember? And I'm not talking about things like now in the game, but like when you were growing up, there is that thing that you're like, oh yeah, that is a stat that I know that I recite that nobody should know now.
I guess it's not like a stat. But I maybe it is. So I very well remember you remember the Curse of the Andino, Robert Andino scoring the winning run against it was the day where it was honestly, in my opinion, the greatest day in baseball history, where it was the Yankees playing against. Yeah. Truly the greatest day in baseball history. And I remember who Robert Andino scored, because everyone remembers that Robert Andino walked off the Red Sox against Jonathan Papelbon, taking the Red Sox out of the playoffs. But who led to that? The guy who doubled before that, he doubled in Chris Davis, and he scored the tying. He scored the winning run. He brought in the tying run. Do you remember who it was? It was not Chris Tillman. Yeah, Chris Tillman had a one-off at bat and achieved Baltimore fame. No, oh my God, the Zoom again. No, it was Nolan Reimold.
Really?
Nolan Reimold.
I would expect you to have a Nolan Reimold jersey, or at least a jersey.
I do like the esoteric Baltimore, like a Larry Bigby jersey.
Gotta get him.
I love those, like a Nate McLeod jersey. Like I really am fans. Like I have a Willians Estudillo jersey for a reason. But yeah, what about you? What's the one kind of thing that you remember?
I remember this distinctly. I went to a day camp, summer camp, right? And when I was like, I must have been 10 years old, and I went to the Yankee game. I went to the Yankee game where the Yankees won their 13th game of the regular season, making it so that there were more than the Cubs 112, so that they had the most ever regular season wins, right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And I was at that game, and I then went to day camp the next day, and I was like, I'm going to submit to their paper or whatever, like the thing that they put out at lunch to people, that I have a trivia question about who was the last out of the Tampa Bay Rays Yankee game when the Yankees won, the most games ever. And it was Aaron Ledesma.
Oh my God! Well,
Yeah,
that's a name.
and no one submitted an answer.
Really?
No
That is
one.
hysterical.
Absolutely no one did.
So
I was so destroyed about it.
there are two things. One, I wish Eric could run the tape back so we could see how many times you like faux tipped your cap while you were retelling that story. It was very funny to me. Two, Pickle Wizard 99 just dropped a very funny comment that really got me laughing on the cast. He says, every week Alex gives us a realistic-ish addition to the game of baseball, and Nick responds with his fondest memories of Mario Party.
It's a great game.
Funny. Yeah,
great
that's
game.
good stuff. That's good stuff.
Okay, fast. Man, we're blazing through this week.
No commercial breaks. Okay, the second baseman has to take his pants off once a game.
He can't wear a glove. One position. Let's just have a game once a year where the entire team can't have a glove. It's just like it's old timers day.
Great.
That's
fan.
it. That's crazy.
Right. Well, 4 teams get relegated. Yeah, one guy has to be the oldest guy in the stadium, and he's got to throw 17 pitches.
It's not called rational thoughts. It's not called that. It's called wild thoughts.
It does
wild thoughts.
It's good
Fast.
stuff.
We've got a week ahead of us of so much baseball. Is there a thing that you, Alex Fast, is super hyped about?
You took the good one, so I'm not going to say what it is because that's a really good one. And you stole all of them. You didn't just stay with one person. You stole. You'll see what I mean in a second. I'm curious. I'm excited to see how the Halos bounce back. I'm curious to see like what, obviously you already brought up Girardi earlier on the podcast and how the firing seemed to light some sort of fire under them. And I'm kind of curious to see if the same thing happens in Anaheim. I mean, a lot of people will probably point to the fact that Mike Trout hit a home run, which I think is kind of funny, but that's also Mike Trout, and I don't think we can dig too much into that. But I'm curious to see like if that team continues to lose, right?
Yeah.
If that team loses, 6 of their next 10 or 7 of their next 10, people are going to be like, see, it wasn't Maddon. So I'll be curious to see what happens there. I would just love to hear, we tried to get some guys on to talk about this tonight. Because I don't really feel comfortable giving my opinion on it because what the heck do I know? But like, I want to know in a clubhouse if you truly feel that losing streak. It seems like you do. The comments that we hear are like, Joe Maddon lost his temper with a reporter last night. I think Mike Trout said that, things were pretty good in the clubhouse, that we like had a conversation about it. But I want to know, like, I mean, I try and think about it realistically. If I have 12 bad days at the office, my 13th day at the office, I'm going to be pretty grumpy about it.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Alex has never lost. No. It's true. Would you like me to show you my Emmy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that how you respond to everything?
Yeah. And they're like, sir, we just want to know what your Wendy's order is. I'm like, okay. You want to see my Emmy? You're like, no, sir, please.
I really hope like you add like a notch on your belt that just holds the Emmy.
Weighs me down.
An Emmy sleeve that you have, or sheath.
I have like severe back pain. But you know what I mean? Like, do you think that like, and also at what point does that permeate through the clubhouse?
Well, okay,
is it a 5-game streak?
There's a lot of things about this. I mean, we've seen it in cinema showcased where like, Moneyball, you have like Jeremy Giambi partying after these lose, and Brad Pitt throws a whole fit, right? Mm-hmm. You have it in Major League. You have it all the time where like these guys don't care about losing, and that's the idea of it. That's not how it is. I mean, I've always been conflicted with this a lot. Like I remember, there were times in Brandes, of course, that we didn't win every game, and I personally, I'm someone that instead of acting sullen, I'm someone who tries to always be positive and try to keep the morale up. So I will kind of act as if like I'm not as affected by it. but then there's also a sign of respect of, hey, we're losing right now and we have to be serious because we have to get this work done, right? So it depends on the clubhouse. It depends on who is in it, if they are taking it seriously or not. And that can be body language in different ways. How, we've seen like Mickey Callaway loses cool, with Jason Vargas. When that wasn't going well. Like tensions are always higher when you're losing, and they're so much easier. It's a fun clubhouse, as they say. And oh, they have such a great chemistry. That's always when they're winning, right? I think it's really important to, that's when you look to your leaders in a clubhouse to say, like, all right, set the tone of not only of how we are going to stay confident through this, but also how we're going to adjust and improve and take it seriously and be better. So, I mean, that's the best I can say for not being in a major league clubhouse. I can imagine that there are going to be also clashing people, right? They're going to be the guys that are like, no, you're not supposed to celebrate. I remember my coach getting really upset at us on the bus once because we just lost a doubleheader and we lost like 4 in a row or something. And he's like, you're not allowed to make jokes right now, And that's one way to handle it. But some guys I'm sure are going to be a little bit different. So that comes down to the manager, and clearly Andrew wasn't doing it well. So that's that.
All right. So what about you?
Well, what am I hyped about?
Yeah, what are you hyped about?
Not seeing any more Fallen Angels puns. But
oh my God.
Look, it's pretty obvious. This is such an exciting week. We have Steven Strasburg coming back. Beautiful. I'm curious how he's looking after TOS. We have Ty Lord McGill. He hath risen again. He's coming back this weekend. Great. Clayton Kershaw returning finally. Tatiaga is going to be good. The ace is always going to ace. And guess what? Shane Baz finally showing up for the Twins. I mean, all of this stuff is amazing. I'm so excited to see these guys go. I won't pick one thing. I won't, Eric.
Pick one thing.
I will not, because I am picking one thing of injured pitchers returning. That is my theme. Redemption arcs. Soaring and ascension as they go back up the ladder to success. That is a wonderful thing. You should all be watching those games, rooting for their success, and I can't wait. Pitchers coming back. Thank you, Eric. That's exactly what I'm hyped about.
Eric is crushing this one today. Eric is the king of this podcast. Well, before we move on to the final thing, which is about who's going to win the World Series, I got a little bit of an axe to grind here. Eric, help me out. Are you familiar with Kate Bush? Did you get that pop culture reference from earlier?
Yeah, I know who Kate Bush is. I don't live under a rock.
Thank you. Like, what is happening? I felt like I was in the friggin' Twilight Zone over here. It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting here with two friends. I knew, whatever. All right.
You're not allowed to be friends with people that don't know Kate Bush? What is this?
I understand that, but I mean, it's in the zeitgeist right now. You know what I mean? Everyone's talking.
Oh no,
about
I
Kate
understood.
Bush.
I know what you're talking about and everything. But I was like, yeah, let me go listen. I know that Kate Bush song. I mean, give me 2 Kate Bush songs.
2 Kate Bush songs? How many can I give you? Running Up That Hill, Wuthering Heights.
That's the one that's trending, yeah.
Wuthering Heights is the other one. Babushka.
You're making these up. This is literally you making them up.
No, absolutely not. Babushka is a great song. I love that song.
It's about I can't answer this.
Okay, it's about a woman who is upset that she's falling apart from her husband, so she writes him sexy letters as a temptress, and then he ends up falling for her again. There's my favorite, which is
I would honestly believe that you've had that novella in your head for a long time, and now you're just
no. It. Suspended in Gaffa, the first Kate Bush song I ever heard, and I was like, this woman's voice is amazing.
All right, Fast.
Pink Floyd is the reason she exists. So what, you don't like Pink Floyd now? All right. What is that? Go ahead, take it. Sorry.
Fast. Who is going to win the World Series? It's not going to be the Marlins, Orioles, or Brewers. Who is it going to be?
Well, dang it, you dingus. I had my answer all queued up, and then half the team got injured like 2 seconds ago, so I don't know how I'm feeling about this.
Wait,
but
what?
The answer
What do you mean half the team got injured?
So apparently Yu Darvish beamed half of the New York Metropolitans today. It looked like Pete Alonso might have maybe a broken bone. Starling Marte left the game. Meanwhile, so my legacy league team is done because now it's 6 players on the IL for me. So yay to me. But let's pretend like that didn't happen. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, we find out that Pete Alonso was just removed as a precaution and his hand is fine, but that does not sound like it would happen. Starling Marte, hopefully that's a precaution too. I was going to say it was going to be the New York Metropolitans. No team. Oh man, I cursed it and I was writing it. I was writing it in the notes, being like, I'm going to say this, and all the Mets fans are going to be like, "Why would you say this? You're cursing us." No team has a more commanding lead on their division than the Mets do right now. They're 9 games ahead, and like I said, no team has a more commanding lead, and they've done this without the best pitcher in baseball, in Jacob deGrom. They're 12-5, I believe, since Scherzer hit the IL. So now we're talking about a team that Scherzer and deGrom could theoretically return after the All-Star break. And as long as they still have like a 5-6 game lead on the division coming into that could truly be a runaway. They have the second best WOBA in baseball, only 4 points behind the Los Angeles Dodgers. And something that I found out today, which kind of blew my mind, they have 7 qualified players with a WRC plus over 100, which leads all of baseball.
That's really
good. No other team has more players with a WRC plus over 100. That's their defense has stepped up as well. They could theoretically still continue to add a really good bullpen arms, which I think is going to help them even more. I mean, sure, maybe they could even go out and get like a Frankie Montas or something, because I mean, honestly, I would feel pretty comfortable going in with Scherzer, deGrom, and Bassett, with like Carrasco coming out of the pen, or Tyler McGill coming out of the pen, or even Tyler McGill as the number 3. They might not even need that. They might just need 2 or more.
I thought you were just saying you just have Tyler McGill coming out of the pen, or Tyler McGill coming out of the pen.
I didn't mean it like that.
I mean, I'll put it this way. The Mets right now on Fangraphs have a 97% chance of making the playoffs. You don't need the Mets to hold this 38-19 win-loss record, right? You don't need that. They can go on a stretch right now where they go 20-20, 20-24 even, and still be in a decent chance to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
All they need to do is get there with a healthy Scherzer and deGrom. Carlos Carrasco has been a really nice surprise for them this year. And I say a surprise when, like, oh, you're thinking 2018, 2019, Carrasco, but he's been through a lot. And to see that changeup and slider come through lately is great. Tyler McGill is coming back to give them a little bit more, headroom moving forward here to stay above water. But yeah, if that offense does start to slow down, I mean, there are guys overperforming right now. 7 guys above a 100 WRC plus, so essentially saying 7 above average hitters is exceptional. And I don't think any of us really expected that. So removing Marte, removing Alonso, that's down to 5. And is that Cabrera? Is that Canna? Is that Nimmo?
It's tied for 3rd, by the way. 5 would be tied for 3rd.
Well, there you go. Right. So I'm saying you're down to 5, and then those guys, the other 5, whoever they are, hopefully they can keep performing at that level. Lindor, I assume, is there too. I mean, they just got to play 500 ball at this point. You know, they're 19 games above 500. Just stay there, and you're fine.
Eric, are you an A's fan?
Yeah, I am.
You come out dunking on the O's, and you're an A's fan over here? You're talking about dunking on the O's?
I'm a silent A's fan, quietly an A's fan.
Okay, all right, I'll take that.
He's got an A's hat on his brick wall every time I talk to him. But fast, I think it's time to announce the winner of this. And can you in chat right now, put in the name of that picture that I showed the graphic. I'm not going to spoil it this time. But chat, you should be putting that name now. And fast, who do you think that was? That we're giving away some free PL Plus right now. Put it in. Can
I take a look at it one more time?
Yes.
Can we see the graphic one more time? I'm choosing between 2 people.
That's Eric Cabrera. So there's the changeup, by the way.
I was gonna say, there is a changeup. Okay, great. So I'm glad that we got to see that. Is it Nestor Cortez?
It is not Nestor Cortez.
So
Twitch chat, you should be putting in this player into chat right now. The last name, there it is. It's on the screen for you to win a month of PL Plus. 159 ERA, .48 WHIP, 51 innings, 6 wins, 0 losses. Looks like we got some people getting it right. The correct answer is Tony Gonsolin.
He has 51 innings?
51 innings, fast.
That's crazy. I didn't think he'd have that many innings.
Yeah, well, we're 2 months in now. 6 and
Where am I?
in 2 months. All right. That is going to take us out. Congratulations to CJM Bucks for watching on Twitch and winning a free month of PL Plus. Just send me a DM on Twitter and I'll send you the coupon. But that's it for today. So on behalf of Eric Murrah, our amazing podcast producer, my name is Nick Pollack.
I'm Alex Fast. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Goodbye. Bye.